My doorknob glue is dry, and as I said before, if your doorknob is slightly out more than you would like, that's been just a tad, you just go under this and just give it a little twist up, and that shortens it. If it's a little too far in, then you just press on it a little bit. That's why I like to mount it with the glue just on the end and give me some flexibility there. So now we're to the point of starting to put our building together, and there is an order as far as the two sides, so make sure you look at the photos and get that right. But basically what I'm going to do is glue one side, make sure it's fairly square and straight, and then let that dry so that I'm not messing around with it as I come back and do the other sides. So I put a little glue in my tray here, maybe, if I get the top off. Again, tacky glue, I don't know, sometimes I call it ticky-tacky, and I assume that's because of TikTok, and I've never been on TikTok, and supposedly it's not good for you, but to me, I've gotten ads on it. It seems totally stupid, but that's fine. I call it my ticky-tacky glue. So basically, you just take a little glue. You can put plenty on this little cross element here, this little corner brace. And you put a little glue on the edge. But don't forget, we're going to cover these edges up with some trim strips. So it doesn't matter whether a little bit squeezes out during the process of gluing this up. So I'm going to put a little out there on the edge. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. So then I'll put this piece, it goes, these two pieces go like that. So I'll put that piece in. I'll slide that piece in. Now the most important thing is to get the edge, to get it straight and get the edges lined up. Now, due to the fact there's trim on these, there is no perfect way to do it. So I'm going to do that. I look at it from the side. I want the edge to be pretty square. I guess that, even though I'm going to put on my good eyes so I get a better look at it. And at the bottom, it looks like it's got to go in a little. There we go. Now I'll just square it up a little bit with my little system here. And we'll let, the top's got to go in a little bit. Square it up again. Okay. We're going to let that dry. Then we'll be back and attach another end. All right, the glue has dried on the previous piece I put together. So I'm going to add the other end. Doing the same thing, except this time I'll lay this on the ground sort of as a spacer. So I'll put a little glue on my mat this time. I always go in from the back in case I got the wrong glasses on or something and I misjudge the height. I always like to go in from the back. I also forgot to mention the last time, if you're going to light this building, and we provide the LED if you want to, and it's going to be sitting near, say, the edge of a layout where people can look in the windows, you may want to paint the inside to hide some of the construction, like the doors and stuff. And if you just hand paint it, I would hand paint it before I started putting this together. And I would probably use a dark color. I'm not going to do this because I actually want people to be able to see the structure of the inside. But basically, we just take this, put it together, put that together, make sure the edges fit up there properly. Make sure that, oops. Make sure that's square. Make sure that's down. All right, that looks all right. I'm having a little trouble seeing. I'm gonna put on my good eyes. Okay. Now we're gonna let that dry. All right, I haven't let it dry that long, but I'm finally gonna slide the other side in. And put some fresh glue on. It looks like a little leftover glue from when I put the braces on. It's sticking out a little bit, so I'm gonna just cut that so it doesn't. Cut it flat. There we go. Check the other end. It's good. Again, we're going to be putting trim pieces over the edges. So I'm not too concerned if I spill a little bit of glue out of the corner when I glue it. All right. I'm gonna slide this in delicately. There we go. I'm actually going to put a rubber band around this. It'll hold the whole thing together. That allows me to get it a little more squared up. And there we go. Make sure that's down. I'm just going to fit one of these in here now and not glue it, just to make sure the spacing is right. There we go. Could put the other one in here to hold that out. There. Oops. Actually, I think I'll just go ahead and glue this in. This will hold our LED light. And I think it's a good idea to put it in even if you're not going to light it. And in fact, I think it's a good idea to put the LED light in even if you're not going to light it, because someday you may change your mind. And it'll all be installed. It's definitely easier to install it before you put the roof on. There we go. I just approximate that at the center. Doesn't have to be perfectly centered for the light. Okay. We'll just leave that for a while. In May, I was going to put another rubber band on the top, but I don't seem to be able to find one. Here's one. Maybe this is a big one, but I can double it and put it around. There. I'll hold it nice and solid while the glue dries. All the joints look good. Okay. We're just going to leave that for a while and let the glue dry. Our walls should now be dry. So this be our first chance. I'm not going to permanently do it, but I want to make sure that the main part of the station and the roof fit together. They should if we've done everything right. The tabs should go in the slots. It's symmetric, so it doesn't really matter which side it goes on. And they do. So we did put everything right. So that gives us our first look at our little building. I can take this brace out now. That isn't really used. All right, so everything looks good. So our next step, before we put our roof on, is going to be to put the corner trim on. The roof will be one of the last steps. I still want to put in the window shades and put the LED light in. Those are all easier if you do them before you put the roof on. So I basically picked out a piece of this corner trim. You can now see how the goes up the side, and I picked out a piece for the other side, And so out of the 6 pieces, 3 of each kind, I picked 2 that I thought were the best. So to install those, basically, we put down some fresh glue. Must be running out of glue in this container, but it takes a while to get the glue out now. I get my paper towel and I put some glue on the back of this. Now, I bent it. I bent these a little more, and there's a little white showing in the center, but don't worry about that. We're gonna just repaint the center of this with a stiff brush. Be very easy to do, won't hurt anything. So put glue on there. I don't want too much glue on this because this could, also want to make sure that I don't squeeze it together so it glues itself to itself. That's not a good thing to do either. But I don't really want the glue to squirt out here, although it is a white building, so it wouldn't matter that much. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to put this on the edge here, line up the top. There we go. Push it down a little bit because the bottom is what really matters. You can't really see under the top. And we make a nice fit there. And that's all we have to do. And I'll install the other side. You see how that little angle goes up? And on the other side, it'll go the opposite way. So, get my toothpick again. Hope I'm on camera doing this. I keep forgetting I'm recording this. I always just talk to myself, so I don't know whether I'm recording or not. One of the advantages of being old, you can talk to yourself and nobody cares. All right, let's put some glue in there, smear it up and down, get it all nice, get any excess out. I better put a little more here and better smear it up on this side, make sure I got it good, but not too much. Whoops, that wasn't good. Pick it up, put it on. Push it up. There we go. And we have our trim on. All right. And I'm going to do the other 2 pieces off camera just to keep from boring you. I know you appreciate my conversation, but that's all right. Our next step is to install our blinds. The blinds that come with the kit, I printed out. They were online, and I think the website is hocustoms.com. And it basically, they have different types of blinds if you would like different types. I kind of like these. The site has a whole bunch of good information on kit building, various techniques and so forth. So I encourage you to go there even if you don't need the blinds, but thought I'd give them credit. Now, when I cut my blinds, I don't like to really leave any white space on the side. I like to cut them right up to the edge. Now, if you remember the inside of our kit, the windows aren't really flush with the wall, so we're going to have to do a little bending of the blind to get it to lay flat against the window, which is what we want. And I'm going to just place them in here at various stages of open and close. I'm not going to have them all totally the same. So let me take a blind, and I'm going to, basically what you have to do is bend the blind. Let's see, which way do I need to bend it? I need to bend it with a little, bend it that way, and then bend it back this way, so that's a little, so that it will step out over that thing. I'm attaching them. This is glue dots or other forms of dots. These aren't really dots. These are actually little squares, but they never harden. So they're kind of nice for this. You can, you know, they're not permanent. I don't really like gluing in my blinds. But basically, you go in there, and you glue it in, you just push it in, and there are your blinds. I'm going to install the other blinds. They're all done the same way, and then I'll be back. I've got my blinds in, as you can see. And our next step is to put in our lead before we put the roof on. Now, these LEDs are not consistent in diameter, so the hole is a little bigger than you need. So just like the blinds, I use one of these, the little dots, to hold it in place so that it doesn't fall out of the hole. Now, if you look on this thing, the braces are going on either side. So the best way to do this is to put that in. You can bend the wires on this because they're going to stand up too tall if you don't. So you can bend them over. Run the wires like that to the edge. And then down. Now this LED can be run in, anywhere from up to 18 volts. It's best to run at DC, otherwise you'll get a flickering. If you want to dim this, we don't have it now, but we will have videos in our educational section about how to change the intensity of the LED for your model train, and also, excuse me, the effects of AC if you use that on an LED. So let's make sure everything sort of fits now. Yes, it fits. You can see how the wires run. So I'm now going to glue on the roof. And I do that, get my glue. You know, you don't really need that much glue because you're not going to be handling this much. And I like to put it just in the slots here. And I put it inside of the slot. That way I don't mess up the outside. So I'll push it into the slot with a toothpick in a minute. There we go. Take my trusty toothpick tool and get some of it into the slot. I got some outside of the slot, so I'm gonna try to clean that up a little bit. You really won't see this, but I still like to do it the best I can. Push a little into the slot. Yeah, that ought to be good enough. And we'll put the body into the roof. There we have it. All right. Now I'm going to let that dry. Then we're going to come back and put our roof braces in. And then our final step will be the chimney. Our next to last step is to put these little roof braces in. I personally find this one of the hardest steps because they're so small and I have such big fingers and shake a little bit. But we're going to try it, and I've done it before several times. So first we're going to put one right next to the trim on each end and one in the center. So we need to find the center and mark it. I'm going to mark it and then just sort of approximate it when I put it in. So I'm going to mark the center on this side is here. So that I can see that mark later. And I'm going to check it both ways, because that's how it's easiest if you get the same measurement both ways, and then you know you got the center. We do the same thing on the other side. I'll mark it. Right about there is the center. And I'll check it to see if I get the same measurement. And I do. Okay. So these little guys, I'll put a picture in. They're not perfectly symmetric. One end is a little more pointed than the other. The end that's less pointed is the end that goes up against the roof. So what we're going to do is put a little glue on this back side and just a tad there. Then I'm going to try to lower it down onto that roof, which ought to be exciting because my fingers don't really fit in there. I do have some tweezers, but these things typically give me more problems than help. So I don't know, maybe I'll try them. So put out some fresh glue. There we go. Just going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of this. You really only have to put it on the back side of this. It's not like this is a building that's gonna, but I do like to maybe put just a dot there. There we go. So I got it glued well. Now I got to get it in place. And that's the tricky part for me. That's the tricky part for me. You want to make sure you got it square. Whoa, I almost think I got that pretty well. I did get that pretty well. Let me make sure it's centered. It is. I want to just push it a tad this way, which will probably screw up everything, but I'm going to try it. And that looks good. I'm going to put a little pressure on it. Wow, I ought to quit here, but I'm going to put one of the side ones on too. Remember you have 8 of these and you're only going to use 6, so I picked the ones that I thought were painted best. All right, I put a little glue on this one. Use my tweezers again. That worked out pretty well. Let's see, I forget how I did it now, unfortunately, but actually you want to go in this way. Okay. So a little too much glue. And just a dot there. Okay, and I'm going to put this right up against the trim, not on the trim, but right against the trim. Wow. I'm actually impressing myself. I can't believe this is going so well. All right, and that one looks good. So basically, you just continue that way with the others. And I know I'm going to screw up, so I'm going to turn off the camera and do the others without the camera. But that was a lot easier than it's been for me in the past. I actually got those braces in without incident, which is a first for me. But they went in pretty easily. I guess I'm a little not as shaky today. So our final step is to put our chimney on, and we just put a little glue on it. There. Let me spread a little bit. There's our glue. And we're going to put it right here in the center where it belongs. And we're going to make sure that it's vertical. So, oops, a little off. Vertical. That looks fairly vertical. Whoops. It's between the things. That looks pretty good. So, I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. Then I'd like to come back and light it and show you what it looks like. What I've done, I didn't want to end this without showing you a little of the results. What I've done is hooked a 4.5 volt battery pack up to the lid so I could light it. And show you the lit final result. This is HO scale. I like the detail. It's been a lot of fun building it. Part of my goal was to prove that you can do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. And I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope I wasn't too boring. I think I built a beautiful little model here, with even got my Flower Town station sign on it. It's lit. It's got beautiful windows. So if you purchase one of these, I hope you get as much pleasure as I did. And like I said, if I can do it, you can do it. You watch the whole thing, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching and being patient with me. Goodbye for now until the next model.